Hello. I think I speak for everybody here when the characters of Beast Wars really made an impact on all of us. So what was your approach to character writing on Beast Wars? And my follow-up is any advice on how to write such strong characters in scripts?
The characters in Beast Wars were probably some of my favorite characters of all time. And they were actually brought about by the budget, I think, because so much of the shows that I've worked on, everything had been already decided by the toy company as to who did what and everything else. And so, but in our case, it really wasn't. About the only thing we were told was that Dinobot had tested really well, and even though he was evil, they wanted him to become a good guy. And so that was literally about all we were given. And then we were given a bunch of these characters that they were going to create as toys. And then we were also told that we couldn't introduce new characters, and we couldn't use a bunch of new backgrounds, and we had a planet that was mostly rocks because it was a CG show, and that was how much they had actually built. And so, and they pretty much blew the whole budget just crashing the Ark on the place. Larry and I, without a lot of what writers normally reach for to perk up a show, I called it, we were writing in a glass box. We had this glass box that showed what might be out there a little bit, but we always had to keep anybody from noticing that we were really pressed up against the walls on what we could do. So we were always looking inward and just having the characters fight with each other and deal with each other and be squabbly with each other. And it helped that our Optimus was not the powerful leader that had to happen. I mean, we could not have people just taking command and doing stuff. Rat Trap would give him shit, and we needed that because we needed to have that kind of interaction because we couldn't have huge dramatic fight scenes plowing through the skies and blowing up cities and stuff like that. We had to make it all work with the characters and try and keep it entertaining, and that turned out to be probably the best thing for the show, was to force us to actually develop the characters because that was all we had to work with at the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, certainly. Oh, and I'm sorry, I wanted to add, one of the things that starts to happen when you do get good characters and you're into a show to a certain degree is that the characters actually start to take over. By the time we were into the middle of the second season, I was starting to feel like the characters were writing the show. I mean, I'd sit down at the computer and I felt like I was just, they'd start arguing or they'd start doing things, and all I was trying to do was type fast enough to transcribe what they were saying. I mean, I was dreaming about the characters. So I think that's a good sign, actually, or insanity, one or the other.
Hi, you may have already just answered this, but coming off the tales of Transformers, where like the elevator pitch is truck versus gun, right? We're not, like, as much as we love G1, it's not necessarily the most emotionally deep sort of like canon. It's very fun, very exciting. But I think for a lot of us here, one of the best parts of Beast Wars was that it got so emotionally deep, and it really developed these interesting characters and these interesting relationships. Like, Code of Honor, I cried. I'll be like not the first person to say that, I'm sure. But how do you take the premise of monkey versus Tyrannosaurus and get that level of emotional depth?
Yeah. Well, I will say that our Megatron, I entirely stole from Terry Pratchett's, Lord Vetinari, and then just threw in some particular phrases like "yes," but again, the we needed to make characters because we didn't have a lot else to do at the time, and we needed. And Larry was adamant about trying to explain why we did things, and so he would always try and work out the details of things like the energon poisoning and things like that that they were protecting themselves with. Too much raw energon on the planet. We need these beast modes to protect us from the overwhelming radiation or something like that. I mean, we had our reasons for everything and why they had to transform and stuff like that. But mostly it just came down to we didn't have the budget to do anything that involved huge amounts of characters, and we couldn't introduce new characters, and we couldn't have cities or large places to blow up. So, yeah, it just came down to villains fighting with each other and everybody blowing up Waspinator, which I will tell you right now was actually it became a running gag, but it was mainly because our scripts were always going long, and Waspinator talked like this, and every time we gave him a line, it took too long, so we just killed him early. And not only that, but Ian Corlett, who was doing the voice, was already doing a couple of other voices, so it didn't matter to him financially. So it's like it was a simple running gag that actually caught on pretty well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.